Hi there, welcome back to DefenderKev's workshop. Now today we're going to be building a welding table. Now I've got one that I've had for a while now, but it was built out of scrap. It was a big chunk of flat steel that I had laying around and a bunch of bits of wood that also I just had laying around. So I built a little table. It was never very sturdy, and the biggest problem I had was clamping things to it. Now looking around, there's some really nice expensive tables, like really huge ones, smaller ones, but they've all got this grid that you can see here, which is basically a bunch of holes at regular intervals. You can put tools in them, you can put little stops in them, you can things that you can clamp your work up to when you're welding. So I looked around, I looked on eBay, and I found this kit. It's not the cheapest one that I found, but it's not the most expensive. It's kind of a compromise between price and sturdiness from what I can see, obviously before I built it. So, first thing you get is this big piece of 5mm steel with all the holes laser cut. It's about 1200 millimeters wide and about 700 deep, so 1.2 by 0.7 meters. And with that, so that's the top. With that you get 4 of these kind of width pieces, which go into the little teeth go into pre-drilled holes across the top plate, and so we'll clamp those up and weld those. And then you've got 4 of these cross pieces that go the other way. Now pretty much all of those got slightly bent in transport, but you can kind of force them into place. They're not that badly bent, they're just like a couple of mil out. So once they're all put together, clamped and tacked, everything will be fine. So that's kind of shoring up the flatness of the table. Once you've done that, there is there's a front piece that's going to go on here, and there's little teeth on the front of all these cross pieces that it will slot into, and then that'll go on there like that, so you've got like a nice square edge to be able to put things on. Then we've also got 4 of these, so these go in these slots here, and then they go into other little slots on the front piece, just to make sure we've got some bracing to keep that square. And we've got 4 legs, so the legs are going to weld into the corners like that. And then lastly, well, no, not lastly, nextly, next we've got strengthening bars, so these will go across like that, and across like that, so they'll square up all the legs and strengthen them further down. And then we've got 4 of these little plates to weld onto those cross members, 4 nice big trolley wheels, and of course all the hardware you need to attach the wheels. So, first job, let's take these out of the way. So the first job is going to be cleaning off the weld scale along where all these pieces are going to go, obviously on the table and on the cross pieces, and then we can start tacking everything together. 2 hours of grinding later, and I think I'm ready for some welding. You can see what I've done is I've ground off the mill scale where the bars are going to go, and also on each of the bars I've ground off all the mill scale at the bottom where the weld's going to go, because that stuff you can't really weld through, it's horrible. I've also ground off a section on each corner so I can attach the earth. You want a good earth when you're welding. Now, just a note, I did a bit of Googling around to find out what the best way to get mill scale off is. A lot of places said flapper discs. So I tried the blue ones, tried the red ones. That I couldn't get them to work very well. I had to use this, the really thick grinding disc on the grinder, and also quite regularly it would kind of glaze over. I think it might have been getting hot because I was doing so much grinding. But I've got a little dressing tool that I normally use for cleaning up the grinding wheel on my grinder. But yeah, just a quick pass with that and it let me do a bit more. Yeah, that was not a fun job. So anyway, next step is to start putting these bars in. As I said before, there's these little holes, I don't know if you can see them, tiny little holes here, which are square holes, or rectangular holes, and there's these little locating lugs on the bars. So the long ones go in first, and then once you've done the long ones, we get the short ones, and these will only fit in one way round. The curved end goes where there's curved corners on the tabletop, and they just slot over the long ones like so. Okay, now it's time for some clamping and tacking. Alright, well that's everything tacked up. It's gone cold again, so here we go. Looking pretty good. What I am going to do, before we go any further, damn that's heavy, is check it for straightness. Yeah, it's pretty straight. So, what next? Oh yeah, we're going to need to put the front piece on. So as I mentioned before, there are 4 of these little support things which hold this square. So what I need to do is grind these, grind this, flip this back over, and then make sure everything's square before I tack it up. And it's complete. I mean, it's only tacked together. I haven't finished welding it properly yet, but even so, it's super sturdy. I mean, the legs are 2-inch box with like a 3mm wall. There's a 3mm wall on the support bars as well. And once that's all tacked together, it's really, it doesn't twist at all. The casters I really like because they're quite big. So it rolls really easily. And they've all the casters have got little brakes on them as well, so when you stamp on the brakes it's not going to move around. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to go back, flip it upside down again. Oh, by the way, really heavy, so if you're going to flip it up and down to do the welding, then I would suggest that you get a friend to help flip it over. But other than that, I'm very happy. I've even had some of my tools turn up, so I've got these clamps, they go in the holes, and then as you do them up, they twist backwards and kind of rock themselves in place, so that's not going anywhere. Yeah, cool. So thanks for paying attention through another one of DefenderKev's workshop videos. If you like what I do, please subscribe, like, share, and hopefully I'll be back soon doing something else interesting.